And we start here in Nigeria on the Blueprint newspapers. It says PDP crisis amid Wike's insistence on IU's resignation. Atiku kickstarts campaign in Uyo today. Rivers governor lacking spirit of good sportsmanship, says a coalition. And also APC inaugurates Aisha Buhari-led women campaign team today. Group passes confidence vote in Shoga, party's BOT chair. And that's on page 6. Also this morning, inflation to spike to 20.9%, says Rwani. Flawed, 8 missing, 30 rescued as Anambra mourn boat mishap. If you remember over the weekend, there's stories about 70 plus people that died in a boat mishap in Anambra State. We can also find on the Blueprint this morning, NDLEA intercepts 1 billion naira tramadol pills from Pakistan at Lagos Airport. Tinubu Shatima ticket, Shagari, Dogara, Boni Haruna and others plot against APC. That's on page 5. Buhari seeks return of stolen assets on page 15. And page 25, delaying climate policies will hurt global economic growth, says the IMF. Gunmen set police station ablaze, killed 2 in Enugu. And I think these are the big ones. Oh, top of the screen, Nigeria needs $2.3 trillion to bridge infrastructure deficit, says Ahmed. And of course, Zainab Ahmed, who we're speaking about here, the Minister of Finance, Budget and National Planning. Those are the big stories on the Blueprint this morning.
Now let's still stay in Nigeria, looking at the Nigerian News Direct. On the front page, $1.9 billion oil theft. Discoveries of illegal tapping points on crude oil pipelines hit 58 in 2 states. Illegal bunkering would soon become a thing of the past, according to Tom Polo. The details on page 2. NAFDAC alerts Nigerians on substandard pediatric cough syrup. I think this is something that should be broadcast, loudly as possible. We're talking about this much later on in the show, and how this has killed over 66 children in the Gambia. And unfortunately, many other countries have porous borders, and this medication could have gotten into their pharmacies. So we're hoping that we can talk more about this much later on the show this morning. NCDMB links effective customer service to success of Nigerian 10-year local content roadmap. No political undertone to Sanwo-Olu's workers' salaries increment move, says Omotosho. We talked about this last week, the increment of the salary, was it last week? No, it wasn't last week.
It was sometime last week, early last week, where the governor had made mention of possible salary increase for state workers, yes.
Anyway, they said no political undertone to this. We have at the top of the paper, show evidence of payment for Obajan and Nakos, tells Dangote Group, accuses man over biased statements. NDLEA intercepts over 2.4 million tramadol pills from Pakistan at Lagos Airport. It seems that we're having more and more reports of drugs and drug busting interceptions happening around the continent, or in the country rather. But that's what we can take this morning in Nigeria. Let's head over to South Africa.
All right, let's see what the Sowetan has for us. Department's prayer, let there be light.
And there was light?
Maybe there wasn't immediately. Basic education worried about the threat of load shedding during matric exams, and also discussions with ESCOM are on to find a way to avoid disruptions. Measures also taken to prevent leakage of exam question papers. That's on page 4. Deploy army to illegal mining hotspots. That's on page 3. And also exercise to fight depression. That's on page 10 of the Sowetan this morning. And of course, you can see a very beautiful picture there of Z Arnold's with, of course, a joyous celebration, MTN joyous celebration during the Idols season 18 top 6 performance. Beautiful picture there in Pretoria. And I think the final one would be in sports in Sowetan, on the Sowetan rather. Caleb's hat trick from the spot lifts Chiefs. You can find that on the back page there.
All right, let's head over to Uganda with the Daily Nation, or rather Kenya, I beg your pardon, with the Daily Nation. On the front page, the big story says, Azimio to Ruto, walk the talk. Economic Kenya seeking reprieve from high cost of living. While on the campaign trail, Ruto envisioned a smooth implementation of his pledges, but taking the reins of power on the 13th of September ushered him into a hard reality: drought, rising food and fuel prices, mounting debt, and insecurity. Now his rivals want him to quickly address these issues. What magic will he work? That's the question being asked on page 6. At the top of the paper, MP's law firm slaps Kirima family with 600 million naira 600 million shillings legal fees. Firm demands over 666 million shillings from the estate. The details of that's on page 12. And some good news. We call this good news. So close. Wow. Kenya's Ruth crosses the finish line yesterday to win the women's race at the Chicago Marathon. She clocked 2 hours, 14 minutes, and 18 seconds, just 14 seconds shy of world record. Wow. And Benson, on the other hand, Benson Kipruto celebrates yesterday as he crosses the finish line to win the men's race at the Chicago Marathon. He clocked 2 hours, 4 minutes, and 24 seconds. The final story: death threats, corrupt tender deals, and a woman's elusive search for justice. You want to find out what that's about? Head on to the Daily Nation on pages 2 and 3 to find out what the details. That's all we can take this morning. We have